Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and it's time to look ahead for Week 10 in the NFL. Week 9 had some fireworks, some fun stuff, some crazy moments, good, bad, ugly, some great matchups, too. I think we're starting to get a picture of what some of these playoff teams are going to be, and some of these playoff races are going to be really interesting. So make sure you subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel and subscribe wherever you get your pods so you can stay on top of all of that. My top 10 bets for the week video will come out tomorrow. We've got the prop show this week later on. We've got all kinds of fun things, including our Monday Night Football live stream. So don't forget to subscribe. We'll check that out. And Thursday nights too. But we're taking this Thursday off, everybody, because Joey P's going on a little vacation. Now, two guys who never take a break. Pat Fitzmaurice, my patty cakes, and of course, Derek Brown D-Bro, the king of bros, the fantasy bro, coming over to Betting Bro just for today. Sam Hoppin taking a day off, so I guess this is the season here. So, D-Bro, looking back at Week 9, was there a certain circumstance that really kind of, let's be negative, let's have some fun, that ruined your weekend?
It's always fun, man, when you hit the over for Saquon Barkley's carries and you're like, well, that's a stone lock.
Yeah.
And then the entire offense falls apart. The game goes sideways and you're questioning everything that you thought you knew about life.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Poor Daniel Jones, too. He's going to be out for the year. So
man.
We'll talk more about a guy who could not catch a break this year. Pat Fitzmaurice, let's spin some positivity. What worked out for you on Sunday that you felt really good about when you look back?
Oh, I caught a huge break on under in Ravens Seahawks, where the Ravens decided to show the Seahawks mercy, being right at the doorstep of yet another score at the very end of the game. And luckily, I swear to God, it took like the Ravens maybe like 6 minutes to go the last 20 yards of that drive. Like they easily could have scored again. And thank goodness, took the foot off the accelerator and got me that under bet. So that was a positive result for sure.
There you go. Mercy is not for the weak. So there you go. Let's get to some of the picks here for this week in the NFL. Some early values. The boys and I are going to take a look at some of these games here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and drop a comment below. Let us know what your favorite pick is. We love our Betting Pros community here. We're so happy to see all of you subscribing. It's great. Keep it going. Let's go. Because we're giving away a 1-year free premium upgrade to Betting Pros Premium for you just for dropping a comment and subscribing. What's better than that? Nothing, I tell you. So make sure you also ring that bell for notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up of the BP show or the live streams here on the BP channel. And if you're the big winner, so 1-year free premium upgrade doesn't get better than that. And you can follow us too at bettingpros.com/Joe/Fitz. Have some fun with that also. Let's get to the games, boys. Let's take a look here. And it's bettingpros.com/Dbro, I believe. Yes, we can follow you too.
I was going to say 2 weeks in a row, I get left out in the cold, Joe.
I almost did it to you twice. Third time's the charm. Let's get over to Thursday Night Football. Yeah. So Carolina's 1-7. The Bears are 2-7. It's on Amazon Prime, which is annoying to have to switch over, and I can't DVR it. So let's look at the lines over on BP and see if we can make some money on this one. The Bears are 3.5-point favorites at -110 right now. 40 is the number. You can get the Carolina Panthers at +145. D-Bro, since you're our guest today, let's start with you on this one. So many bad looks, bad reads from Bryce Young. The pick sixes are not good. You can get Carolina at +152 on the money line at FanDuel right now, but we don't know the status as of right now of Mr. 1 Justin Fields. Do you want to bet this now and hope that he plays on the Thursday in the short week? And do you think that's where the value is? Or do you wait potentially and see where things go from here? Because if you don't think Fields is going to play, Carolina on the money line is kind of interesting as the upset for me.
I'm willing to take Chicago here to cover. I think that Justin Fields does have a realistic chance to play. But either way, what has Carolina shown us this year? Nothing. Bryce Young has shown us nothing. This defense is in shambles. And even if it's Tyson Bagent under center, he went toe-to-toe with the Saints this last week. Showed the rushing, showed the ability to play quarterback. Like, I'm willing to say that the Chicago Bears cover. I mean, outside of that, the only other action I'll have on this game is probably betting the over for when Deontay Foreman's props come out, as far as rushing attempts and stuff, playing almost 60% of the snaps. But past that, I'm off this game.
Fitzy, Brian Burns is probably not going to play in this game either. That's a big loss on the Carolina defense. And the Bears defense has played better of late. Do you see any value here on this Thursday night contest?
I can't say I do, Joe. It does seem like this line is maybe giving the Bears a little too much credit. And it does seem like it is kind of anticipating the return of Justin Fields. So I don't know. I mean, the Panthers were ahead of the Bears in the Massey Peabody rankings going into week 9. And even if that gap has closed up, like I think they'd still be pretty close to even if we're giving the Bears 2 points for home field. Like maybe there's a little value on the Panthers, but it is hard, as Debro mentioned, to back the Panthers with anything these days. And, although they did knock off the Texans a couple of weeks ago, that was kind of an impressive win. But
their only win of the season.
Exactly. I'm probably not going to bet this one. Like, I just can't give more than a field goal to anyone with the Bears.
Early money coming in on the Panthers, too. I think people are starting to see what I see, which is, hey, take the Panthers, and then if Fields doesn't play, then all of a sudden that's a good value. But it's a little risky.
Even if he does, Joe, like the Panthers can beat the Justin Fields Bears.
Well, I'll also mention here, I think the under's in play because both these offenses have been terrible. The pace of this game is going to be disgusting, too.
Indianapolis Colts and New England Patriots will go to Germany. Guten Morgen. We did that the other day. So I learned a little German. Guten Morgen. So we have this game here sitting at 43.5 at -110. You've got the New England Patriots, 1.5 point underdogs at -110. The Pats a +110 on the money line. Bill Belichick, after this game, taking some questions here from the media. It was ugly. It was bad. I mean, I know they won 2 weeks ago, but it just seems like things are going in a really bad direction, very negative. Whereas the Colts, I feel like, are competitive in these games. What do you think about this one? I mean, to me, I'm on the Colts side of this one in the early going.
Yeah, we've talked about the Colts, Joe, being one of those vexing teams that I've been unable to get on the right side of all season long. So I guess I don't really like either side here. I just don't like betting against the Patriots as home dogs, even though, I bet on the Patriots as home dogs. Wait, no, they were slight favorites against the Commanders.
Yeah,
didn't work out. Not at all. But then again, they knocked off the Bills a few weeks ago. So they're really kind of squirrely at home. I don't like either side, but the Colts have been a pretty reliable over team. Week 9 notwithstanding, I thought the Panthers were going to be able to keep up their end of the bargain and score enough to get that game over. It didn't happen. It was the Panthers' fault. But I don't know. The Colts have gone over the total in 4 of their last 6. And 6 of their last 9 games have gone over 50 points. The average point total of a Colts game this season is 52.7. So I do kind of like the over here. I think I'm going to bet the over, but I don't think I'm going to bet either side.
Yeah, Debro, what's interesting here, obviously the neutral site comes into play quite a bit, but still the ineptitude of the Patriots, not being able to find any consistency. The fact that they are underdogs in this game feels right to me. I like the Colts in the -1.5 at -115. You get a FanDuel, but what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if I got to take a side here, I'll go with the Colts. I have no confidence in the Patriots, but my favorite bet out of this game, and I think Fitz hit the nail on the head here, is betting the over. We quietly have 2 teams that are top 3 in neutral pace. So I think the play volume, and neither one of these defenses have been playing fantastic. Let's also throw that out there. Like, I know Kenny Moore housed 2 touchdowns, and you don't want to target the slot versus this defense. The outside corners have still been up and down. I like the over in this game because I think the play volume is going to be fantastic.
All right. I don't know about the volume in this next one here. Green Bay and Pittsburgh coming up here. I got one word for you, kids. Under. That's probably 37.5 is that number. At -108 on FanDuel. Green Bay is +167 on the money line. Pittsburgh -3.5 points over on DK at 105. Debro, I know I'm kind of like quick to that and I'm being facetious, but it just, neither of these offenses give me a lot of real confidence necessarily. Week to week, the Pittsburgh Steelers like to play, these kind of down and dirty games a little bit. You saw also the Christian Watson is going to be dealing with an injury, so Green Bay is not going to be 100%. You got Jordan Love on the road, Pittsburgh defense. I'm just looking at this under. To me, that's the best bet of this one. I think Pittsburgh can handle the 3.5. I would like it to be 3, to be honest. But whatever. Well, beggars can't be choosers. What are your thoughts here on this one?
I'm with you, Joe. I think I wish this opened at like 2.5 or 3, but I still think Pittsburgh can cover because the thing they do well is get after the quarterback, and the thing that Jordan Love can't handle is pressure. So he's going to see one huge dose of TJ Watt all up in his face all day. So I think Pittsburgh Well, the money line has been, good Lord, it's been seduced by the juice. But looking at, minus 190, no. But you can give me to hope that the Steelers will cover in this one. I'm in on the under. Really, this comes down to I'm probably going to attack this mostly with props. But I do also think that once we get the news that Christian Watson is out, we could see this line move a little bit more in the Steelers' favor.
Well, here's the thing, Fitzy. This one did open at 3, and now every book has added the hook. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think they're recognizing that the Packers' offense is pretty sickly and that it's hard to see them going to Pittsburgh and winning. I've been very guilty of estimating the Steelers all season. So I'm
you and me both, brother.
Yeah, we've talked about this, Joe.
Like
I'm wary of that. But I still, considering that I can't see the Packers winning this game, I think I am going to bet the Steelers. And Joe, if you're going to grab that under, you better grab it fast. You mentioned it's 37.5 on FanDuel. It's already down to 37 on DraftKings as of late morning on Monday. And I could see this going down to 36.
Oh, 100%.
Agreed. Yeah.
I bet it before the show, my friends. And make sure you're making all your picks count, by the way. Make sure you're doing our fun Betting Pros contest at bettingpros.com/NFL contest. We make 5 picks a week, 100 on the season, and the winner gets a Jackson Smith and Jigba autographed jersey. We're also doing weekly prizes, monthly prizes, so you can join any time in this contest. And you don't even have to make a bet. You just have to make a pick. That's all you have to do. We're giving away upgrades to Fantasy Pros, to Betting Pros. We're giving away swag from our shops. Let you go shopping. Black Friday sales are right around the corner. But again, have some fun with us. Download the Betting Pros app and make sure you click on that community tab and go to NFL Contest. Or you can just go to bettingpros.com/NFL Contest. And when you download the app, you get 3 free days of premium on iOS. So there you go. A little bonus for you with the NFL, NHL, NBA. Someone told me college basketball is starting again. I know Fitz cares. I do not, but whatever. To each his own. There's only so much room in my brain at one time for things. That's.
I'll leave all the college basketball betting to Fitz. I'll just tail his bets.
I just follow Fitz. Bettingpros.com/Fitz. Let's get to the New Orleans Saints and the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are on a roll. I'm feeling it, boys. Let's go. They're going to be at home against the Saints. The Saints are obviously, a defense that continues to be steady here. Taysom Hill continues to do Taysom Hill things. 41 is the number here. You have the Minnesota Vikings home underdogs at 2.5, which is always appealing. Minus 102 over on DK. You can get that. If you like Minnesota for the upset at plus 125 or a points bet, this one's really intriguing to me. Both teams are 5-4, Derek. It's interesting narrative. It feels like the Minnesota Vikings have this good favor rolling and this confidence. The Josh Dobbs thing gave them this life. It feels like they're really coalescing, and the Jefferson injury almost kind of united them together. Is it enough, though, to bet them in this scenario at home week 10?
I think it is. I was actually kind of surprised where this opened at. I thought the line was going to be closer. I feel like this is giving way too much credit to the New Orleans Saints. With Minnesota's secondary playing better, they're going to blitz the ever-living heck out of Derek Carr. He's been up and down. It's always an adventure with Derek Carr. Give me the Minnesota Vikings money line, especially at plus money. And I am intrigued by the over in this one. With Josh Dobbs having a full week to actually learn all the names of the people around him, what can he do? And this Saints offense is starting to come together. So give me the over, and I'll take Minnesota money line.
Okay, Minnesota money line. I like where Debro's head's at. It's 2 for 2. Pat, you want to make it 3 for 3?
Yeah, I like Debro's call on this one too. Minnesota's a tough place to play. And granted, this is not like a star-studded edition of the Vikings, but man, like Brian Flores has really got that defense overachieving. The Saints defense has been really good too, but why do I also feel like the over is the right play here? I mean, this was supposed to be Josh Dobbs' Vikings debut. He's already, as it turns out, had a week to dig his heels in and get comfortable. And he makes the Vikings kind of plucky offensively. So at this low number, I'm leaning over too. It's just kind of a vibe. I know both of these teams have maybe been a little better defensively than offensively, but I think we're going to see points in this one.
The over is probably the safest bet of anything on here. I think if you're trying to have a little bit more juice there, you take the Vikings on the money line, but I agree with you, Fitz. I think the safe bet here, or if you like individual props, you want to put something along with the game, you take the over, and then you take something you really like, whether now, Madison might be that, now that Akers is out with that torn Achilles, maybe some Madison props become a little bit easier to digest. Let's get to the next game on the slate here as we run through week 10 in the NFL. Having a good time here. The next one, we've got the Houston Texans and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, gentlemen, Joe Burrow and CJ Stroud looked really good on Sunday. This one, in theory, should be a very entertaining contest. The number, 47.5. Pretty good. -110 on FanDuel. The Cincinnati Bengals are 7-point favorites at home. That feels right. I think the Bengals have earned that. +280 over on the FanDuel side. Now, that's for the Houston money line. Fitz, I want to talk about this because there's that dangerous thing, and we talked about it last week, right? Just because a team looks great one week doesn't mean it travels around. The Cincinnati Bengals are starting to really look like the Cincinnati Bengals of old, that big-time playoff team. The 7 is a big number. I'm still here for it. The 47.5, I think, is pretty high. I'm actually staying away from it. I'm just going to go with Cincy in the 7. But Fitz, do you see anything different here in this game? Do you think 47.5 is a number that this game can go over?
I don't know about that. I'm not
either.
betting the total on this one.
Me neither.
I think the total is pretty spot on, but I'm kind of with you on the Bengals, Joe. They've got it together. They are rolling. They look like the AFC Super Bowl contender that we've seen the last couple of years. And I do find it interesting that this game opened up on DraftKings at +8 for the Texans and was quickly bet down to money must have come flowing in on the Texans right off the bat. And it got down to 7 really quickly, but
It's a
7
good thing
is a
for
number
everybody who wants to bet Cincinnati.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm pretty comfortable with it at Bengals -7. I think I want to hit that now before it goes up again, and you have to throw a hook in there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, too. This is why you're watching Betting Pros. This is why you're subscribing to the channel. 3 weeks ago, I think it was before the San Francisco game. It was my number one bet of the week, which was the +500 on Cincinnati to win the AFC North. And I said, you're never going to see this number again if they win against San Francisco. And then it went to 350. I didn't look at it what it is this morning. I'm going to check it right now. But that's the thing. It's like you have to say, all right, you're in a position now. If Cincinnati runs a couple of these big games, if they go and beat San Francisco, they beat Buffalo, what does that number look like? I don't care what the Ravens are doing. I don't care who they're beating up on, the Arizona Cardinals and teams like that. I care about the Bengals beating the 49ers. I care about the Bengals beating the Bills. That says to me that team is ready. Trey Hendrickson being back too has been such a huge piece for this defense on that defensive line, getting to the quarterback, making things happen. D-Bro, any final thoughts on this contest here? How do you want to approach it?
I'm in lockstep with you guys. I thought you were going to mention how we both bet the Cincinnati Bengals money line against San Francisco. Which
We did that too.
We
did that too.
Yeah.
That was on that same video.
What was it, Joe? +210 at one point.
It was +210.
It was so pretty.
I think I got it
was so
+240 is what I got it at.
Oh, it was so nice, man.
Thanks
But
to Betting Pros.
I'm with you. I think the Bengals cover this number. I'm intrigued by the under in this game. Cincinnati has been rolling. If they get to the over, I think it's because the Bengals just mollywop them in this one. But I'm curious what the line does. If it goes up, I'm going to let this kind of simmer. I'm curious if this line continues to go up a little bit, and then I'm going to hammer the under later in the week, depending on what it does.
Still good value. The Bengals on FanDuel +320 to win that division. Baltimore's -145.
Ooh,
I just think it's wrong. I just think it's
That's wrong. That's absolutely
Just go
wrong.
bet it right now, folks. You know what? It's going back in the video again. It's going back in the video again tomorrow because the people need to know. I have to be the voice of the people. Let's get to the next one here.
TikTok superstar, Joey P.
I'm an influencer, if nothing else. The Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens. Again, all credit to Baltimore. They are handling their business. Offense is starting to jive here with the new play calling and then everything going on here in the new OC. Baltimore 6-point favorites at home against this Cleveland defense. That is for real. You can get -105 on Baltimore at DK. You get -110 over on the +6 side at Cleveland. 38.5 is the number everywhere here for this game pretty much right now. +220 on the Cleveland side for the upset. D-Bro, the Baltimore Ravens continue to be that team that kind of plays up and down to the competition. Now, Seattle was kind of a weird one where I feel like that was almost like a mid. So I guess this is to me where Baltimore starts to really prove itself, winning these big in-division games because they came up short against the Steelers. These are the games you have to win. What do you think about this contest? You see any early value on the betting side?
I think that this is giving way too much credit to the Cleveland Browns and their defense. This line should be 7.5. I think I'm willing to say the Ravens are going to cover this at home. I'm staying away from the total. I think it's good, but I think Baltimore Ravens just stomp the Browns in this one.
Yeah, see, I tend to go that way too, but Fitz, I've learned one thing in all of these years, which is, sometimes when it looks like this, too good to be true, like the real value on this game is to go bet the Browns. Like that's where the value lies. There's no doubt about that. And I know it's I get it.
Oh, it's so gross.
But if you're the Browns, what you have to do is defensively contain Lamar Jackson, make him beat you throwing the football, and continue to sack and rush that passer. Now, Lamar's a little slippery. That's true. But Pat, to me, the value on this game is the Brown side, which I know it's gross, like Derek is alluding to, and I'm with you, but I might even watch this one and bet it in-game live because I feel like that is something. If you see that Browns come out then looking like that team that played the 49ers, right? Or even the team that came out yesterday, that energized Browns team, that's a tough team to beat anywhere.
Yeah, although, the Cardinals are such a punching bag. Like, I don't feel like we can take that much away from that game, especially with Clayton Tune.
But you know what? They should have beaten the Indianapolis Colts. They had that game in their grasp. That was a road game. They beat San Francisco. And they're doing it with subpar quarterback play at times. But I keep coming back to, like, this is one of those games that it's going to be nasty. It's an in-division AFC North kind of grinding game. And I think that style favors Cleveland because of the defense.
Yeah, where I agree with you on
Baltimore.
This.
Well, let's see.
I agree with where I agree with you on this, Joe, is that I think the Ravens are the more complete and the better team. But this game with these defenses, I do see this as being a classic AFC North rock fight kind of game. And 6 points is too much to give up in a rock fight. And I just kind of have a policy where I do not bet against the Ravens when they're at home. It's either bet 4 or lay off. And it's probably going to be a layoff. I was mildly interested in the under here when it was 39.5 to open. It's already gone down to 38.5, and I'm not quite as comfortable with it there. So I'm probably just going to enjoy this as sort of a classic AFC North defensive struggle and not bet it at all.
Well, let's see if you can enjoy the battle of 2, 3, and 5 teams in Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers are going to host the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis with a little bit extra time to prepare for this one. Hey, give Levis credit. Pittsburgh, he got down to that last play and then he threw the pick. Bogman and I were talking on that Thursday Night Football game. I said, look, there's just too many negatives against Levis here. Rookie quarterback, short week, on the road against the Steelers. Like, there was just, and you know what? We got it right. Bogman hit 4 out of his 5 props that night, and I hit the 3. And that's it. Like, we crushed that game. Now it's time to crush this one. Titans, Tampa. I know here you're getting basically a pick 'em. I like Tampa on this side. It's 1 point minus 110 over the -1 side of Tampa. That's on DraftKings. 38.5 is the over under. The money line for Tennessee at FanDuel is -102. DK's at -115. So Vegas is telling you this game is a pick 'em. And Pat, I'm just going to pick Tampa. And I'm going to pick the home team with Baker Mayfield coming off of a bad loss there where I think the defense kind of grabs itself up by the haunches and has a better showing here against Will Levis. What do you think?
I'm with you, Joe. The Buccaneers just have not finished well lately. They've lost 3 straight, but all of them have been 1-score games, 2 of them by a field goal. And the Bucs do seem to play a lot of these close games. I just feel like this line is giving Levis too much credit. And yes. I understand the enthusiasm. Like, he immediately has looked like he belongs in the NFL, but rookie quarterbacks are still going to make mistakes. And while the Buccaneers are, certainly not one of the better teams in the league, they're not an NFL doormat. And it just seems like giving too much credit to the Titans to have them be almost a pick 'em in a road game against the Bucs. So I agree with you. I like the Bucs here.
I'll say this too. I think I'm very comfortable going up there to, let's say, like, right now, in the alternate spread on FanDuel, you can get it -3.5 at +140. Like, I'm comfortable. And if you don't want to go that far, you can get -2.5 at +104. I can move the needle just a little bit, get plus money, and just take that because I think that is the best way to approach this game, D-Bro. What do you think?
Absolutely agree. You bet the alt line, and I think Tampa Bay is going to cover this. And the other part about this is, as news trickles out, I think we could see this line move more in the Buccaneers' favor because none of us project that Treylon Burks is probably going to play this week. Now, that's probably not going to be the needle mover, but the other side of that is DeAndre Hopkins is not fully healthy. He's been dealing with a toe issue. If anything comes out midweek about, oh, maybe he's more doubtful to play, who the heck is Will Levis throwing to? And yes, this line is giving Tampa Bay at home. This line is giving way too much credit to Will Levis. So give me Tampa Bay outright to win this game. And I agree. Bet it right now with them at -1 or a pick 'em. I think Tampa Bay wins this game, and I think they cover.
That's my favorite thing. The best thing that came out of that Will Levis debut was the 3 touchdowns and all of this. Like, oh, I can't believe it. Nobody could believe it. But let's not forget the reason why we couldn't believe it. And I think everybody has. And that's what Bogman and I were trying. We were trying to check the privilege. That's what we're trying to do. And Thursday night, damn it, we checked the privilege. And I want to check it again here. Checking privileges. That's what we do here at Betting Pros. Let's get to another game here. Can the San Francisco 49ers stop the bleeding in Jacksonville? 5-3. Going to Jacksonville, 6-2. Jacksonville, 3-point underdogs at home at -105. Man, is it tempting, D-Bro. 45 is the number for this one, -110 in the under over at BetMGM, 45.5 over on FanDuel at -110. If you like Jacksonville for the upset at +145 at PointsBet, you can get it there. D-Bro, look, San Fran looked like first class, and then all of a sudden they got bumped down to coach. And now I think this is where you got to figure out where you are if you're the 49ers, because the headspace I feel like is a little iffy at this point. So do you think Jacksonville has it in them for this kind of upset, or do the 49ers get right?
I don't know if I can confidently say that Jacksonville can upset them. I don't disagree that they've been bumped down to coach. They're riding in the middle seat. Somebody's reclined back on them, and they're just questioning life and all their choices. I agree with all of that. I think the way that I want to attack this game with, I think Deebo Samuel is going to be back this week, and I think that's going to be a big boost to this offense. For me, I'm staying away from the sides. What I like here is the over in this game. I think that this game could be a shootout. If San Francisco gets right, I think Jacksonville can push back on the other side against what we've seen be more of a porous San Francisco 49ers defense. They are giving up more production.
Well, now they've added Chase Young, so we'll see what that pass rush looks like.
We'll see.
That'll be interesting.
But even with the pass rush, secondary has been more porous. You can get at them. I think I like the over in this game.
You know, to Derek's point, Pat, you know, when you have Deebo Samuel in the game, Purdy's numbers are markedly different. The splits with that, it's like the Daniel Jones splits with and without Saquon Barkley. So if you have that in this one here, I start to lean towards the individual Brock Purdy props here because I think they're going to be low after these last couple of weeks. And I think that is a great opportunity if Deebo's healthy. So you're going to wait till Friday for this one, have to wait for the Friday show for it. But in your opinion, Pat, how do you see this one? Because both of these teams, I think you can throw on them. That's going to be the interesting part. Do you think that tends to an over? Do you see any value there? Like, how do you parse this game?
Yeah, I think that the total is about right. And but I do kind of like those Brock Purdy overs if Deebo does in fact play. And it seems like things are trending toward Deebo playing. But we've got 2 streaking teams here. We've got the 49ers who've dumped 3 straight and the Jaguars who've won 5 straight. And I mean, although I don't think anyone considers the Jaguars like legitimate Super Bowl contenders, I do think they have stamped themselves as a legitimate AFC playoff team. I still don't think there's much disputing that the 49ers are the better team, however, although maybe Jags fans would dispute it. So I'm leaning slightly towards betting the Niners here to end their 3-game losing streak. I just think this team is too good to lose 4 straight. And coming off the bye, hopefully that gave them time to patch up some of the holes in the secondary and get the defense right again. But I kind of like the Niners here.
All right, next game on the slate here, we got the Los Angeles Chargers at home. We'll see what they do tonight against the New York Jets. This is Monday when we're recording this. +1.5, -110 on DK for the Los Angeles Chargers at home against the Detroit Lions. Lions coming off a bye here. They are favorites, as they should be. I don't think they're favorites by enough. I know that sounds a little kooky considering, you know, they kind of got their rear end handed to them, but they've had some time to think about what they did wrong. Maybe you get David Montgomery back in this game. I'm still waiting on news for that. 48.5 is the number pretty much everywhere here. +110 for the Los Angeles Chargers. Pat, the Chargers have no home field advantage. They are, they're an army without a country. They are this team that continuously lets you down. I can't find the alternate spreads because they're not up right now for this game in particular because the Chargers play tonight. But I would say this. No matter what happens tonight, I don't care if the Chargers win this game tonight against the Jets. I still don't like this number here for the Charger side. I would tease this one, try to get it to 3 or so for the Lions. What do you think?
Yeah, the Chargers still can't close, Joe. Coffee is for closers, no coffee for the Chargers.
That's
so,
right.
I'm taking the Lions here. I've bet this one already. You've got the team coming off the bye, well rested, probably getting David Montgomery back this week, and going against a team that's going to be on short rest after the Monday night game in what's probably going to be a hard-fought and physical game against the Jets. I love the Lions here.
I love a good Glenn Ross reference. That's what I love. And for those of you who've never seen the play or the movie, you should. You should find it. It's great. Fantastic performances. Al Pacino selling real estate. I got a piece of land that I want to sell you. I want you to take a look at this. It's a good deal. It's a good deal for everybody. We're going to make so much money here. But fun fact, the Alec Baldwin character in that movie who comes in, does that amazing monologue, it's not in the play. They wrote it just for Alec Baldwin to show up that day and be in the movie. Fun facts here at Betting Pros. And again, people always like, what movie are you talking about? Just go look for it. It's great. It's a dude movie. It's a true dude movie. Derek Brown, you're a dude. What do you make of this game? I got no other.
I thought you were going to bring up in this entire soliloquy.
Well, there's so many things I could bring up, but the
story.
problem is, again, Glenn Ross is not a PG film necessarily, too, the way they talk to each other. So any quotes that I could lend here would put.
I
me
thought you
in
were just going to tell your Pacino story. Your Pacino story is very good. But we don't
I met
have
Al
time
a
for
couple
that.
times. He's very small, but he's got a big head. The head is enormous. It is. He has a huge head. I don't know how it stays on top of his body. It's crazy. You know, he just had a kid. He's like 80 years old. He just had a kid. God bless Al Pacino.
Pacino?
Yeah, he just had go look at it.
Hold on. I have to Google that after this show. I didn't even know that was a thing, man.
His girlfriend's
really?
like in her 30s. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, these guys are like 80 years old having kids.
Hey, man. Lights go off.
You wanna play some Legos?
So,
I got a Lego set I want to do. All right, let's get after it. What do we have?
Wait, yeah, let's get back to the game.
Talking about Detroit.
Good Lord.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're still somewhere in the midst of the
place.
Lions and Chargers. Yeah, I'm with Pat on this one. Give me the Lions. I think alt spreads are definitely in play here. I think the total is spot on. If anything, I think the Lions could slow this down and drag the Chargers down. So the under in this one is actually more in play for me, but I think the Lions take this one, man. The Chargers, yeah, they get no coffee. They cannot close. They fall on their face. I think it's going to happen again at home this week.
Now, you haven't seen The Godfather. Have you seen Glenn Ross at least?
I have seen that, and no, I have
right.
not seen The Godfather. But
right, well,
you
we gotta
also
change
need
this.
to take a little bit of ownership for this, Joe.
No,
I was up in Jersey. I'm staying at the
we just had
Casa,
no time.
and you never
We had
turned.
no
Oh,
time.
here's the excuses.
We were at the
for
draft.
all of the big talk.
I was too busy embarrassing you in Madden. That's what I was too busy doing. All right, let's get to the next.
You don't want to talk about your 3 losses.
You don't want to talk about Isaiah
Yeah.
Pacheco running for 385 on you and 4 touchdowns.
You know what? We don't need those screenshots. I don't need them.
I have the screenshot to prove it.
I don't want that.
Falcons,
No, I don't want that.
Atlanta Falcons head over to Arizona. Arizona, you can get plus 2.5 over on BetMGM at minus 110. You can get Atlanta at minus 1.5 at minus 110 over on DK. So this game is all over the map here. 41.5 is the number you can get at BetMGM. 42 over on DK. Everyone's just trying to figure this out because we don't know if Kyler Murray is going to play. Plus 110 on the money line for Arizona right now. That's the best number you can get at BetMGM. D-Bro, we anticipate Kyler Murray's return this week. I think that feels about right. So, that being said, do we want to jump on this 110 now before that news comes out?
I think it's in play. I would like this number if it was a little bit higher. Honestly, my favorite play in this game is just hitting the over. We've seen the Arizona Cardinals defense can't stop anybody through the air, on the ground. This number is going to go up as soon as we get news. And I fully believe that Kyler Murray will play this week. This has been my thought the entire time, that if this team wants to put Kyler Murray in a spot to succeed in his first game back, you're not running him out there versus the Browns or the Ravens, as well as his trade value. If they do want to trade him this offseason, you're not going to put him out there in his first game. So I think Kyler Murray does play. And for me, my favorite one is just betting the over and moving on.
Okay, betting the over and moving on. Pat, how do you want to take this one?
I'll take the Cardinals as home dogs, Joe, and you can interest me in that money line. Going
let's go.
against the Falcons, where is the Falcons' morale going to be after losing that game to the Vikings
Maybe
at home?
better if they get rid of Arthur Smith. Who knows?
That would be great. And, I'm a Packers fan. I can't stand the Vikings. I was cheering for the Vikings to pull off that upset yesterday.
We
that
all
was
were,
spectacular. Yeah. So I think the Cardinals can win this game, absolutely, with Kyler Murray at quarterback. And I do think we're going to see Kyler back. So
And people wanted to give crap for Bijan's fumble. Look, Bijan is a guy used to carrying the football 25 times. He needs to be in a rhythm. And I'm not making excuses for him, but enough is enough already. If we're not going to use Bijan Robinson, why would we spend the draft capital on him? It's crazy.
Roll that same clip for Drake London and Kyle Pitts, baby. And Arthur Smith has nothing to hide behind because guess what? You can't pander to the media about the W's you're getting this week, buddy.
It's like Chris Farley in Tommy Boy. He's like, I'm like JoJo the Idiot Circus Boy. I don't know what to do. I get all excited. I get all flustered. Like that's what he feels like. He's JoJo the Idiot Circus Boy. That's what he is at this point. He doesn't know what to do with any of the toys that we've given him, and he's got really good toys. Learn to play with them the right way.
I just want him gone. I want to see victory cigars. I want to see vibes all out of the Falcons.
Antonio Pierce is my spirit animal. All right, let's get to Washington, Seattle. Seattle goes back home to the great Northwest here, licking their wounds after just a butt kicking, let's be honest, by the Ravens. And we'll see who shows up there. Washington looks good against Philly, goes on the road, upsets New England in New England. They're still 6.5-point underdogs, though, to travel to Seattle, which is really interesting. -110 is that number. 45.5, that's where this range of the total is. Plus 230 on the money line. Fitzy, you might call me crazy here. I kind of like Washington to go in there and handle their business against Seattle, which I know sounds insane. But I don't get this whole Seattle, Seattle is mid to me, and those teams always scare me. So whenever I have a mid team, I'm going to look at what the value of the line is. And the value of the line is clearly on the Washington side, but maybe you see this done differently.
I do see it differently than you guys, I'm afraid. I don't want to give Seattle too much credit, but this defense has been pretty respectable. And although Geno has not been the Geno of early 2022, I think he's kind of reverted to early career Geno, I still think they can beat the Commanders, and I was expecting a dud performance by the Commanders last week after getting rid of Montez Sweat and Chase Young. And I seem to doubt Sam Howell at all the wrong times. He went out and had a pretty good game against the Patriots, but this is still a guy who makes a lot of mistakes, leads the NFL in sacks, has thrown 9 interceptions in 9 games. Now they're traveling cross-country to Seattle, which I think is going to be circling the wagons after, let's just say, not their finest effort in Baltimore in Week 9. So I'm actually willing to lay the points here and take Seattle. I think a lot of people are going to be thinking the way you guys are, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the line drop, which is why I'm not taking it yet. I think it could go down to 5, and in that case, I'll be pouncing on Seattle pretty vigorously.
D-Bro, what side of this game are you on, or if any?
I'm on the I'm on the Commander side. For me, looking at the plus 215 right now on the money line for the Commanders, that's the side I want. I get Seattle is at home, and yes, the defense has been good. This offense stays in games every single week. So even if you don't want to bet the money line for the Commanders, take the over here. We talked about Seattle's defense has played good, but Commanders have put up points. They've been in every single game. If you can hang with the Eagles, you can hang with the freaking Seahawks. So that's the way I'm approaching this game. I like the over as my favorite bet in this game, but I am willing to put some quiche down on the Commanders' money line.
All right, we'll see how you feel about this next one, because this one's a doozy. It's a big number, folks. It is 15.5 to 16 right now, and the number is, of course, the Dallas Cowboys at home against the New York Giants. I assume it's Tommy DeVito playing quarterback, so I get it. I mean, it feels like the Giants season is over at this point, which is 2-7, probably true. Look, Dallas hung in there, so I'll take a tiny little L on that, because I said the Eagles are going to blow their doors off. They didn't blow their doors off, but they won.
You did not. You were not in on Dak Prescott this last week. You said he's going to fall.
And did Dak Prescott step out of bounds instead of scoring that touchdown? Did Dak Prescott not throw a ball in the end zone on the last play of the game? Anyway,
that closing play sequence could not have gone worse closing play for the Cowboys.
Look, it's here's why I love the Eagles, and here's why I bet the Eagles at the beginning of the year at plus 700 to go back to the Super Bowl. The reason why is because there's no other team in the NFC to me that plays up front on both sides of the football the way the Eagles do. That offensive line is tough and the defensive line is tough. And if you can play if you play that kind of brand of football, you're going to win football games in the NFL. That being said, let's take a look at this one here. Dallas right now with this big line here, 39.5 is the number. Plus 870 for a Giants upset. Not going to go there. It's minus 1,000 already on DK for this game. One thing I will say, Pat, if you don't think Dallas completely blows them out and just kind of takes their foot off the gas a little, on FanDuel, they have that, winning margin 4-way, plus 175 for Dallas to win between 1 and 13 points. That's an interesting take on this game. What do you think about that, Pat?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, because you can't bet the Giants with Tommy DeVito. Like, their implied point total in this game is 13.5.
That's still too kind.
It's hard to argue it should be any higher than that, right? I mean, they might need a defensive touchdown to get there. So yeah, I don't necessarily love laying 15.5 points with anyone in the NFL. But I'm certainly not betting the Giants. So that is an interesting bet, Joe. At that, what were the odds on that?
Plus 175, win between 1 and 13. So basically, it's a game where
to not cover, basically.
Not cover.
So,
but the interesting thing about that is it's okay, you could still have this game well in check and just kind of take your foot out of the gas and take starters out in the third. Like if it just becomes one of these, with a defense, if they're a little, I don't know, slow out of the gate, it's just an interesting thing because you're giving yourself such a wide positive range of outcomes and positive money. To me, that's the way to approach this game and not muck around with the 16.
Yeah, I'm not messing with anything from this game outside of your bet, Joe, and I'm just going to wait until the props get released and just bet CeeDee Lamb overs because they're cashing every week, baby.
We can't have a week in the NFL without a New York team in a primetime game. So the Jets are going to go to Las Vegas because I hate life, and we're going to see this one here. And look, I got to tell you, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I mean, call me crazy. I don't know why. Antonio Pierce got me fired up. I don't know if it's going to carry over. The Jets defense, a very different piece here you're going to get. But asking Zach Wilson to go over there and cover 2.5 on the road is intriguing to me. I don't know if he could do it. 36.5 to 37 is the number you're getting for this one. I like Vegas plus 118 on the money line. Derek, what do you think?
Yep, I'm taking Vegas money line, man. I think Antonio Pierce got them fired up. And this is not to besmirch what the Jets have been doing. They're reeling off wins, and they're doing it a lot with their defense. This is an easy spot where you could see the Raiders continue to be fired up and Zach Wilson implode, especially on the road. So, yeah, give me the Raiders. I'm staying away from the line and the total and stuff, but Raiders money line all day.
Fitzy, your thoughts?
I told you, Joe, that last week I bet the Giants plus 1.5 on Monday when Josh McDaniels was the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. He got fired. That line went up to Giants plus 3.5. And even though I was getting the Giants, I felt much worse about that bet after McDaniels got fired.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going to win this bet.
That's when you cash out and you go take it somewhere else. Then you go reverse that bet away. That's called hedging. You just go and use money on the Raiders instead.
I'm actually tempted to. I've been just faithfully betting against the Raiders every week with Josh McDaniels, and now I might actually bet on them. I can't back Zach Wilson as a road favorite. Are you kidding me?
No, it's crazy.
So as much respect as I have for that Jets defense, I'll take the money line with the Raiders here.
Monday Night Football, I'm not going to lie, I hate this line. Buffalo 7 at home, -7 at -115 at points bet. It's not that I don't think Buffalo's good, but I don't know if I'm comfortable with Buffalo and a 7-point lead with anybody nowadays. Denver's coming off a bye. Buffalo didn't look great. I never felt like Buffalo was going to win that game with the Bengals. Even when I got in the second half, it just never felt like that from the jump to me. You're getting plus 320 on the money line for Denver upset. 46 to 47 is the number, so there's a range here. Pat, this one to me is a stay away. I'm not a big fan of this game.
I agree, Joe. I can't bet on the Broncos as bad as they looked early in the season, but I wonder, have they fixed their defense? They did a really good job against the Packers a few weeks ago, kept the Chiefs under 20 points in that upset victory. Meanwhile, the Bills lost to the Patriots, needed to stop the Giants on the final play of the game to avoid being upset at home by the Giants. Played a decent game against the Bengals, but like you said, we're really in they weren't close to winning that game. So there's no way I can lay a touchdown or more with the Bills right now to a team that has played better of late. So I agree. I'm not going to touch this game.
Look, I don't feel great about the Broncos either, D-Bro. So that's why this game is an individual game for me. So tell me, you think they can cover that 7.5?
No, I'm not worried about that. I'm betting the Denver Broncos money line at plus 300.
Yeah, let's go. That's how you leave on a high note.
This is getting way too much credit, giving way too much credit to the Bills. Like, if we take out the Bills' name cachet here and the fact that they're at home, this is giving too much credit to them. If we look at what the Bills have been as far as offensively and defensively over the last few weeks, this team is trying hard to find themselves, and I think the Broncos have found themselves. I think it's going to be a whopping dose of Javonte Williams. You can run all over the Bills. The Broncos slow this game down. Like we've talked about, like the Titans love to do, Joe. Pull them down into the muck and say, this is going to be a nasty game, so give me the under and give me the Broncos money line.
By the way, boys, I was just tinkering around a little bit on FanDuel. You could take that Dallas by 1 to 13 points, and then the Lions 1 to 13 points victory at plus 145 and plus 175 respectively. Put them together for plus 573. Kind of interesting. Kind of interesting right there. See, this is what you do.
Nice.
You come for betting pros here. You stay. You listen to Derek and Pat and Uncle Joey talk about some football. So hopefully you had a good time here. Make sure you drop your comments below. We want to hear what you are in on. Maybe you win a free premium upgrade. Make sure you set your game notifications too with the line alerts over on the BP app too, so you can see all the moving pieces here of what's going on here in the landscape of NFL for week 10 in the NFL. Great stuff, boys. Great show. Very fun. Go watch Glenn Ross. That's my final thought for all of you. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For Derek Brown and Pat Fitzmaurice, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Hoo-ah.